Greetings. Yeah, we talking about Jack and Jill. Went up that hill. If you've been following the videos. Uh, so, hey, Detroit, I'm talking about my view on what's happening in Washington, really. And I'm telling you why I see it, how I see it, and why I see it like that. Is because of the time that I came up in, and me and Trump around the same age, you know. And, you know, over there on Finkel and Wildermere during the 60s, we were a different breed of black people, you know. Uh, when we came up over there, is we didn't take, we was, man, we, as far as when it come to here in Detroit, as far as when it come to whites trying to keep us in control or containing us, they couldn't do it. I don't know why. Because even breaking into the unions in the auto plants, the brothers had to kick ass and fight, you know, to get into the unions in the auto plants, you know. And then once they got in the unions in the auto plants, they took it over. They took over the work. The brothers could work, man. The brothers from down south, you know, them some hard brothers. And these brothers that came from down south up to Detroit, they are the hardest. They were the hardest of the hard. And they started taking over, you know, on Hastings Street. You know, the gangsters was over there and Jews was over there. The brothers took that over Hastings Street, Black Bottom. The gangsters, you know, they still was in control a little bit, you know, because you had the Purple Gang and stuff like that controlling, and some of the brothers, you know. But some brothers, they don't put them in the, they don't mention these brothers. Like my uncle and them, you know, my uncle, they called him Red too. Same Detroit Red, the same as Malcolm X. And don't forget that Malcolm X used to uh, run, the, run, run around in Detroit around the same. Not my uncle's before him though. You know, my uncle's a little bit before Malcolm. Cause Malcolm, I had a uncle that was running with Malcolm, but he was the youngest of the brothers. I'm talking about Red is the oldest of the brothers. You know, he didn't join the nation. Him and the next one up under him was, he wasn't as gangster as his oldest brother, but he was a little more smoother. He was more of a hustler, but he was hard too, and more of an entertainer type. And then come the uncle used to hang with Malcolm, and this was around in the 40s, you know, and you know, we know, you know, my family know right now. Uh, some of my cousins is hanging with some of Malcolm's brothers' children, you know. But anyway, these brothers in Detroit was a little different. So we see things different, you know, than the rest of the brothers, you know, and we do things a little different because between 67, 20 years after the so-called riots, we ran Detroit. We ran all the whiteys away up under the Mayor Coleman Young. We had Detroit to ourselves. The majority was black, but we weren't ready for that power. We weren't ready for it. They sent the drugs in on us. They started sending the drugs in on us to control us. Girl, boy, and Mary Jane. And some pills, man. You know, because the plants, you know, was the biggest drug community it was. They was selling and juggling in the plants after hour. You know what I'm saying? Brothers was making money here in Detroit. In the plants, they was hustling in the plants. Women was selling sex as they work on the line in the plants. In them boxcars, man. Playing on the, some brother pimping the foremans and the supervisors, white supervisors out there. They'll put a contract on a white supervisor's head out at Chrysler. And they hire some brothers, some dope fiend brothers to come up here and bump uh, uh, a supervisor off, man. They done killed a lot of supervisors. You know, some of them don't hire nobody. They just did it themselves. You know, Detroit is different spot, man. So we think different, man. We think street, and street life ain't nothing but a lower form of political life. Entertain, enter, the entertainment business life. All of it's the same. All of it go hand in hand. In the Bible, what you see go down in the Bible is what's happening now. It's a reality. It's just a lot of metaphors and everything. But Jesus had a third eye. He had the pineal gland, pituitary gland. You know, he was effectively using it. You know, he did the Machiavelli. You know, but when the Caucasian, he just spook it up, man, make it seem supernatural. You know, he rose from the dead, physically rose from the dead, you know, instead of mentally, you know, rising from the dead. And every now and then, man, they spook it up a little bit. Virgin birth, you know, sex without a man. I mean, giving birth without a man, stuff like that. But all that's con science. Con science, man. Which is happening right now. Is con science. You know, they know how to con the masses. They know how to hypnotize the masses. You know, because the masses are easily led. That's why they call them sheep people. And a lot of y'all in that category. You know, easily led in the wrong direction, hard to lead in the right. Because really, right is too simple for you. So, you know, they run a game on you, man. It's the same game. Ain't nothing changed. Just the name. You know. And so, you know, a lot of brothers know how to talk in that biblical language. A lot of brothers know how to talk in a scientific language. A lot of brothers, you know, but I'm talking in the street language, you know. And y'all don't forget, a lot of our black people done forgot street language. They trying to talk so perfect English, you know. They done forgot Ebonics, you know. You understand? I'm talking how they talk, how they would be kicking it When I was coming up, you could go on the street corners. Brothers used to hang out on the street corner drinking some wine, smoking herb, you know. And the elder brothers, they used to kick it like I'm kicking. Or you could be at a bus stop waiting on the bus, man. Brothers would be smoking some herb, drinking some wine, waiting on the bus. They'll be kicking it, kicking science, just like I'm kicking it. And the young bloods will be listening, you know. And they'll be telling you when it ain't nothing but the same game, street. That's all. Just different levels of vernaculars. You know, just like now they call it a dominant male, alpha male. They used to call it domineering. You know, we used to say on the street, that's a badass brother right there. Don't mess with him. But we use profanity. We'll say don't F with him, you know, or something like that. And brothers, you know, they're just like, I remember when I was coming up, when the bad dude come around, you know, we be around talking, childish talk, and the bad dudes come around, and they'll just start smacking niggas upside their head or sticking niggas for no reason. Just to let you know that, you know, they don't play. But every now and then you'll see a young brother that will fight back. You know, that sometimes dominate the one that's doing all the bullying. You know, and it was more brothers in my neighborhood that fought back than it was bullies. We didn't start nothing, but if somebody starts something, a lot of times we finish it. That's the kind of mindset I got. This ain't over. Black Light. Stay tuned.